But I can't resist the educator's bad habit of wanting to bring a little educational content to this thing. And I have a historian friend at Poly that's interested in music, and I asked him to look up for me, if he would, some stuff about some of the European composers. And he's a pretty obscure historian, and so he came up with a pretty obscure composers. It was one of the Bachs that was not well known. In fact, turned out PDQ Bach hadn't even heard of this person. The historians aren't even sure whether his first name was Otto or Oscar. It turns out he's just listed as O. And he worked on two-part inventions, although the historians have chosen to call those two-part patent infringements. Nonetheless, the story goes that he would work on, and it turns out of all the stuff he did, only one of them really survived, and came down through the ages. And the historians have concluded that maybe the way the thing worked is he would, during the day, work on this piece, and then he would have these fantasy dreams at night. And in these dreams, there would always be two other players with him, one providing sort of a rhythmic pulse, and the other sort of a harmonic pattern, wearing chef's hats and long white aprons. Which isn't all that nuts when you think about it, because it's every piano player's dream to have a cooking rhythm section. So, you'll know when he's in his dream phase because you'll hear this cooking rhythm section playing, and if they aren't playing, he's in the, we would say, a rational state of consciousness working on the thing. And we might listen to see if it evolved and improved in any way. Here's my impression of a two-part patent infringement by O. Joachim Bach. Last year in April, a marvelous female jazz singer named Kitty Margolis came to Cuesta, and she brought a monster piano player with her named Richard Heinemann from, I think, Oakland. I first heard him when he came down with Richie Cole several years ago. He opened the show a cappella with a marvelous Irving Berlin tune. And when I heard that thing, I said, gee, I've got to take a whack at that at the showcase. So here's How Deep is the Ocean. sound in reality. And here's a marvelous place for me to find out. I've had this thing going through my head that I wanted to try. This is a piano showcase. I've taken a liberty since they made me put on the suit. I have to keep this thing moving too because I don't want to have to pay another day on this thing. To expand it into a keyboard showcase. And there's a classical piece from which this next tune was derived. And I want you to imagine now that there's a music school and some practice rooms. And one practice room is Charlie Mingus, and another practice room is Pancho Sanchez, and in another practice room is Herbie Mann, who's a flautist, plays the flute. And they're each doing their own thing, and it gets warm, and independent of each other, all three of them go over and open the windows. They still don't know what the other two are doing. But this happens, and then they hear it and decide, well, let's get together and try to do the same thing. And then they get tired of that and go back to their own practice room. So here's The Lamp is Low, according to Charlie Mingus, Pancho Sanchez, and Herbie Mann.
Bye.